Welcome to Two Women in Crypto, a weekly podcast birthed on a whim by two women who are excited about the cryptocurrency landscape and have a shared passion about empowering others to step into the digital, tokenized world of the future. We offer tips, tricks, and our own individual insights as to how to begin to navigate this shift. We are not financial advisors nor experts. We are just here to encourage you to look at the possibilities. So welcome to the future. You're right on time. Good morning.
Good morning, Kelly. How's it going?
Things are going well. Welcome back, as you always say, to Two Women in Crypto. Good to see you this morning.
Good to see you. Good to see you. I know. Let's just jump right in. It has been one crazy week.
You know, at some point, it's just like, okay. I mean, it's like, when is it ever going to, it's not going to stop for a while. The craziness, the wonkiness, it is just what the new norm is, the chaos. But, Mother Nature is chaos, and chaos births and brings new things, which is an important part of the transition. So we're in it. We're in it to win it. We just got to hang in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about it because we have a week full of news here. So, I mean, I think the first thing, it's all over YouTube and the internet and all that stuff, but we did get those Bill Hinman emails released. And it was interesting. I was watching the price of XRP and like we pop up to like 56 cents and just
boom. I know.
Boom. I'm like, we need more liquidity, right? People are not investing in cryptocurrency right now. There's so much fear. There's so much uncertainty. We don't have regulatory clarity. People are just staying out. They're staying on the sidelines and they're stable coins and they're just waiting. Um, so and at the same time, it's kind of like, we did see that pump up. It was more like buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So
Absolutely. And there's market manipulation in all things, but I think the biggest thing is, understanding that there's nothing but fear mongering out there in the space, right? Absolutely. But if you're just beginning to lean in, and if you just take all the news off and do some research, you will see how important cryptocurrencies and these projects are to our infrastructures. So in terms of investments and things, that none of this is financial advice, I'm just suggesting do some research in terms of some of these projects that are in the news and or just the platforms in general. It's already there, folks. It's just a matter of getting through this kind of rough patch and things will continue to move upwards.
yeah, yeah, and we're in a bear cycle, right? We're in a bear market. If the Hinman emails were released during the bull run,
Right.
who knows how high XRP would have been.
Yeah.
At the same time, Australia went live on the XRP ledger with a stable coin. I think it's AUDD, using XRP. So here we go. So when in doubt, like we do research, right? And we're just like, okay, like what problem is XRP solving? Like, where is the adoption? Like, are we moving forward? And all of these things. And the answer is yes, right? Like exactly what you said, like cryptocurrency, by 2030, according to some experts, is going to be a 25 million or $1 trillion industry. $25 trillion industry. We're 1 trillion.
Right. It's hard to fathom. Obviously, I think it's the way of the future. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So the Hinman emails were really interesting though when they did drop. And again, it's just like it's another like checkbox for like the conspiracy theorists, right? Because everybody has been researching the Ripple SEC lawsuit since the lawsuit was dropped and started exposing how the SEC was involved with Ethereum's ICO, right? So that initial coin offering, you had, Jay Clayton, Bill Hinman, Joe Lubin from Consensus, that's pretty much owned by JP Morgan. I think the guy's name was like John Redfern from JP Morgan. And you could see, you know, the lies, blatant lies that were in these emails that were dropped. So again, it's kind of like total chaos. I didn't even know that when Bill Hinman, when he was putting together the Ethereum speech, he was emailing back and forth with Vitalik Buterin saying, hey, you know, like, what do you think of this? You know, like Ethereum it's decentralized like enough where it's not a security. And these were the emails going back and forth. And he gave that speech. They put it on the SEC's website. So how is that not guidance for the law? Right. So basically, what Bill Hinman did, he changed the Howey test. And he added a component of decentralization. He made up the law. Ethereum gets a free pass.
Right.
And Ripple gets dragged into this lawsuit where they pay over $200 million. It's not fair. Right. And that's kind of like what everything at the end of the day, what that shows is like it wasn't fair because Ripple was meeting with Bill Hinman at the time, who worked at the SEC, and they were just kind of like getting like tossed aside.
Yeah, absolutely. There was favoritism being shown.
Major favoritism, and gave Ethereum a huge leg up for adoption.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, it's like we're supposed to be in like this free market capitalism kind of economy, and we just aren't. And I think it's like the fact that Gary Gensler didn't reveal any of this information, especially during the lawsuit for over a year, that's a lie. So people are calling for an investigation. So we need, especially Bill Hinman, we need an investigation on him. I think he was paid like $15 million just to give that speech.
Oh, I'm sure he was paid an enormous amount of money.
Right, right. So it's like, okay, so we need an investigation. We need to bring him into the court system, and we need to find out, like, you know, exactly what happened and like what was their thinking process around saying that this was your personal opinion when Bill Hinman sent the Ethereum speech before the ICO, I think, to like 16 or 19 people in the SEC, like, hey, what do you think about this? Right.
Well, and I think that there was, I didn't do the complete deep dive, that there was pushback on some of the things that they were requested that he not speak to, but he spoke to anyway.
Exactly. So he went against like a lot of the people in the SEC, like, don't declare Ethereum a security, or not a security. Don't declare Ethereum anything, because it'll be really hard for us if we change our mind in the future to go, I guess, after Ethereum. So super interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. There are buying opportunities on the horizon, folks. Just so you know.
Major buying opportunities for sure, for sure. I mean, whew, yeah. So that was just, you know, one part of the news. And I don't know, you know, we'll just see what happens. But again, like the thing that makes me feel pretty good about all of this is like the judges seem to be voting based on the law. So Gary Gensler, he's not following the rule of law. Like it's pretty obvious. We know that the SEC wasn't following the rule of law, making up their own prongs to the Howey test. So, you know, we had two senators, Emmer and Warren, drop a bill, I think at the beginning of the week, or maybe it was like at the end of last week. And they want to restructure the SEC and fire Gary Gensler.
Right. Yeah.
And this could just be theater, right? Because they're not going to get, Gary Gensler's not getting fired. Joe Biden is the president of the United States. He appointed Gary Gensler in office.
No, I agree. I don't think that he's going to be fired. But what I think is just so crushingly obvious is that they don't want the US to be the leader in, or the space. I mean, the United States is missing an amazing opportunity to be a leader in this space. And instead, they're crushing it for everybody and will be left out. This is my opinion. I mean, I'm not, I'm
Yeah.
not an expert in any of this, but it just seems as though, even though, the United States has been the supposed leader, what have you, it's like they're really even pushing themselves out of the whole market sphere.
Yeah, and it's really sad because like at the same time you had Russia's largest bank went live providing like a digital asset platform, a cryptocurrency platform with Cyberbank. I was like on their website and checking out like all the things. And yesterday, like I think it was last night, China made an announcement. There's a bank called like SIBCO, like SIBCO. They just tokenized um, their first security on the Ethereum blockchain. So exactly what you're saying, the innovation is being stifled in the United States because we have a corrupt SEC that is not following the law, free market capitalism. And here we have two of our biggest competitors that are launching cryptocurrency. So in the next bull run, it is not going to start here in the United States.
No, and also yesterday, I believe it was that I read, and this just, speaks to the hegemony of the US dollar, is that it was Africa who is now going to begin to settle in their own currency and not the United States, based on the support, I believe, and this may be where I'm incorrect, and I could be incorrect on a lot of things, what Russia and China have been doing. They're like, we can settle in our own currency, which is
Yep.
huge for them. I mean, it just makes a huge difference. So,
No, absolutely, absolutely. And I think you're right because I mean, even Janet Yellen, there was a congressional hearing and she talked about the United States dollar losing dominance, losing its world reserve currency. Doesn't happen overnight, but we are watching the BRICS nations are growing. France made an announcement that they want to leave, you know, the United States and the United States world currency and join the BRICS nations.
yeah.
That's huge, huge, huge. So, I think like people in the United States don't really understand, like we have so many privileges and our quality of life has been so high because we've had the world reserve currency. And once like that loses its dominance, like we're starting to see it, the chaos and the,
Absolutely.
just things are expensive and all these different things. Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here in Florida, it's 185 degrees and my allergies are not very nice to me.
Yeah, no, 185. No, I know it's really hot, and the heat index, as you were speaking to, is very, very high. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we're having quite a pleasant summer so far. So we had a couple of hot days, but anyway, back to Mother Nature, right? She's just a wild,
I
wild.
know. I know. So we'll see what happens there. I mean, I think there's been a lot of hearings. I do see like that, like the Congress is really starting to move forward pretty quickly. They're really pushing a stablecoin bill right now. So I think a stablecoin bill is incoming. I think that they feel like that's the most important bill to get signed first. And again, the United States is going to come up with a framework for digital assets, for cryptocurrency. And, it looks like if they don't, if Congress doesn't do it, like we're watching the court systems do it. So the importance of the Ripple SEC lawsuit and for Judge Torres to come out and say, hey, all secondary sales of XRP is not a security, just like in the library case.
Right.
Right? Like library lost the case, but secondary sales of library, not a not a security. We saw libraries coin shoot up 198% after that was, you know, exactly. So we do need some sort of regulatory clarity, even though like we're asking for regulatory clarity when we can't even trust our government and like these like unelected bureaucratic officials like Gary Gensler. So hopefully the court is just going to make the right decisions. I mean, Gary Gensler tried to freeze Binance's, funds, all of their assets. They wanted to freeze all the assets, and the judge was like, no,
Yeah.
work it out, compromise, figure this out. So he's just overreaching. And, I get concerns because we don't know who these people talk to. And all we can do, and all I can do is speculate and do the research and be like, what's going on here? Because there was the digital assets hearing this, I think it was yesterday. And there's a company, I wrote it down, it's called Prometheum. No, no one's really ever heard of them. So they're the first, I wrote it down. They're the first platform of its kind to get approval for special purpose broker dealer for digital asset securities.
Oh, interesting.
No one even knew that this was going on. Then we got this guy at the congressional hearing. And again, it's like, okay, you got approval to hold security tokens. Who's your funders? They're owned by China, 20%. And this is what Gary Gensler is doing. So we have to think, how much is China really in the United States of America, right? We know they own a lot of our electric grid. They own a lot of New York City. They own a lot of California. And now they're going to own the freaking money. And if they own the money, the end goal is to put us on a social credit score. So it's concerning. I'm glad that we do have some congressmen that are speaking up and saying, saying the questions. But at the end of the day, are we going to be moving in the right direction of freedom? Which I don't think that these people realize. People in cryptocurrency, they're for freedom. Okay.
Right. Absolutely.
Test positive for freedom every day.
Every day.
So, I mean, there's going to be some pushback. I feel really good. I mean, I know it's so chaotic and the market is dropping. There's all these macroeconomic factors going on. We're sucking liquidity out of the system because we had to raise the debt ceiling. All of these things are happening, but this is just the cycle that we're in. We're going to get regulatory clarity. We're going to get a bill signed, whether that happens by the end of the year or maybe March of 2024, right before the Bitcoin halving, but we are going to go in that direction. So we need to stay away from the FUD, focus on the research and on the projects being adopted, because we're moving to a new financial system. We are not going to stay in this financial system. Our banking systems are going to change. Everything is changing.
They are. Excuse me. I apologize if you can.
Is that your puppy?
He's like really on it today. Say good morning. So yeah, he's like, he wants to join apparently. So I apologize if you can hear this activity in the background, but he's not wanting to quiet down today. So he's just concurring with you. He's just saying,
like, yeah, I get that. Yeah.
He's saying HODL'on, folks. It's gonna be
we're
gonna be okay, right? Yes.
Yep. So, I mean, I listened to Jerome Powell, the inflation numbers, even if they're manipulated, they're coming down, like we definitely hit our targets. And, 11 months in a row, we've seen inflation go down. It doesn't mean it's going down with food and energy, but like with a lot of other factors, inflation's going down. So again, we're just going to watch this, but it's going to be a bumpy road. I mean, it's definitely super bumpy. Like the Fed paused rate hikes yesterday and the markets just, you know,
Yep. Yep.
for sure. For sure. You know, the other thing, you know, that was like super interesting, you know, just to get back with Gary Gensler too, is like, so Gary's like screaming, you know, all cryptocurrencies are securities. We don't need cryptocurrency. We have a digital dollar. It's the United States. So if all cryptocurrencies are securities, why did he only sue 13 projects? Why didn't he sue the 20,000 projects that are out there? So what, you know, like it's almost like they're picking the winners and losers. You
Right.
know, why would you sue Ripple but not Stellar? And why is like Jed McCaleb, who created Ripple, you know, with Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, you know, all the major players, he leaves, creates Stellar, but Jed McCaleb is not part of this lawsuit. He was in those emails, you know, so it's just like, so he gets a free pass with Ethereum.
Such a smoke and mirror show. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, I mean, I was a little surprised that XRP didn't go higher. I actually thought we were going to bust through that 60 cents, maybe hit like 80 cents, but you know, it's so funny. I always get like a lot of like text messages and emails, like what, you know, like how long do you think it's going to take? Like what's going to be the price of XRP? And like, and if I knew that, and if you knew that, we'd all be like multi millionaires. Like we don't know, right? No one knows except for Gary, because he's the one pulling the strings in the background.
Yeah. I mean, again, the market makers, they have their, it's a, it's a highly manipulated market, period. We know that to be true, but it also runs on a rhythm and a code. And, you know,
Yeah.
we can't control it, but we can do our analysis to see if we can guesstimate about it. But we're in such chaotic times, which is great. I mean, I speak to it, we speak to it all the time. So next year, getting through this fall, whew, could be a bit of a wild ride, a continued wild ride. But next year's a big year. You know, you have the Bitcoin halving, you have the election coming up. There's a lot happening.
Yeah. And the government does not like the stock market to be down during an election cycle.
Yeah.
So, you know, and it kind of all coincides with all these like factors. So yeah, I mean, that would be like my guesstimate. Like they usually say like a couple of months before the Bitcoin halving, you see Bitcoin like start going up. And then after that halving, you know, it's just like bull cycle is on, and then boom, we crash again.
Yeah.
So, but it's going to be super interesting. You know, I'm so curious to see again, like just, you know, is Bill Himmon just going to get like a free pass and not be questioned and investigated? Because, you know, I just get, it's like so weird to like, we were raised to believe in the law, the land and all, and it's just not what it is at all. It's just, it blows my mind. It really does, you know?
I think
And
people need to lean in and do research of the law of mankind. Just simply query that, the law of mankind, and see how far we've fallen away from that.
yeah, yeah. And as the markets go down and as they're like almost like crashing, I didn't even check this morning, but like it's such a good buying opportunity. Like, and I've been like waiting. I was like, is Ethereum gonna go back down, you know, that one more time to like $1,000, you know? And we have a chance, like we do have a chance, you
Sure.
know. But since we don't know for sure, we just dollar cost average in because we don't know if the bottom of the market is in. We just don't.
Oh, no, absolutely not. So yeah, dollar cost averaging in and dollar cost averaging out, but I haven't necessarily been waiting for anything, as you say. I mean, I've just kind of been doing it as I do it throughout the weeks and months. That coffee money is going to my 5-year plan.
Right? I know. I know.
I can
It's
live very simply,
yeah,
very simply. I don't need a whole lot. I don't desire a whole lot, but I can see the potential, and therefore going out to dinner every Thursday night, dinner, drinks, and coffees every week. It's not necessary for my sweet world's existence. So
I know, I know. And I was so excited because I dollar cost average into quant, like when the market first started crashing, because I was just like, I just want to get some quant. I wanted to go back down to 100. And then I buy it and I'm like, and I overly dollar cost average into that one. It's been something that it's been doing really, really well during the bear cycle. And I was like, oh, I should have waited just a little bit longer. And that's the thing. That's why we dollar cost average, because you just don't know for sure.
right. And you just have, yeah, you just have to do it and then not look back. This is what I've done. This is what I'm doing. No coulda, woulda, shouldas. Yep.
No coulda, woulda, shoulda. That's for sure.
No coulda, woulda, shouldas. Perfect. It's
Yep.
good.
And I think too, it's just like, it's such a good time to just remember that like the government is coming so hard after crypto because one, we are decentralized. We are not governed by the government or any regulatory entity, So when there's no central authority, how can like the Gary Genslers of the world wrap their arms around this to regulate it and just try to control it? And again, it's the same thing as the internet. They're not going to be able to do it, but they're going to try to do as much as they possibly can, for sure. You know. So yeah, I mean, I think that's it. If things get really, really bad and everything starts crashing, there's an app you can download on your phone. It's called STEPN.
Oh,
It's
no.
the first crypto app integrated with Apple Pay. And you can take steps and earn STEPN tokens. If things get really bad, go for a walk and get your token and,
Oh,
and, and dollar cost average into your favorite crypto project.
well, it's interesting because at some point, the majority of the world just wants to be told most of the people just want to be told what to do. But like these applications, there's a whole generation that's just how they live. I mean, it's like, great, make my life simple. Which, hey, you got to do what's right for you. I'll be stepping, but I'll be stepping in a different way. But it's adoption, it's consciousness moving forward. And that is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. And I see like these multiple paths that we could take, like as society, especially because of artificial intelligence and it's not just social credit score, get your CBDC, programmable money that expires at the end of the month.
Right.
We do have a lot of pathways for freedom as well. And crypto really can give us that freedom. So it's just, I think a lot of it is like we have to wait until like some sort of black swan event. I'm hearing a lot of chatter from like Russia and in the news that like there's going to be like some sort of cybersecurity event. And the Fed Now app is going live, like, oh my gosh, in like 15 days, right? So if we get a cybersecurity event and we go dark for a little while, just remember, you heard it here at Two Women in Crypto, when they turn the lights back on, hey, download this Fed Now app and we'll put you on your central bank digital currency. We'll give you your money back that supposedly Russia probably took, right, from the banks.
It'll be interesting to see how they try to roll whatever it is and how it's going to look out. But it'll be based on an event, I'm sure.
And if it even works, because again, it's just like there are a lot of people that are watching and are making noise. If you think about just the Ripple lawsuit with 75,000 people signing that lawsuit, like what happens when they do try to roll out a central bank digital currency, with an expiration. I think if they just roll it out, I think most people will just be like, oh, it's a digital dollar. They won't know that it's programmable in and out of your, you know, in and out of your wallet kind of
Right.
it, but they will eventually. And then they'll be like, we can't do this, you know, so that's why it's so important to have some money outside of the system, whether that's gold, silver, things to barter with, you know, cash in the house, even though we'll be cashless. You could have 20 grand in the house and they're just like, no more cash, you know,
Right.
bring it. You know,
Because again, the US dollar isn't backed by anything tangible. It's the monopoly money. It's not. So yeah.
it is monopoly money. And how nerve-wracking is it? Like we're creating all this money from the treasury, right? Because we had to raise the debt ceiling. And what happens? I mean, I'm sure it'll be bought up, but what happens if it doesn't? And if it doesn't get bought up by China and Russia, because I don't really think they want to buy our treasuries, right? Because they're looking to create their own way of doing business together.
Right.
So those dollars come back to the United States. And then who becomes the buyer of the last resort?
I don't know.
The Fed. So we got the Federal Reserve Bank is going to probably have to buy all these dollars, and that's quantitative easing. And then here we go. That'll bring crypto and the market up, and it'll also bring up inflation. So we're either going to see deflation or massive inflation. No one knows.
Yeah,
You
I
listen to
I was thinking
8,000 experts, and they don't know.
right. No, exactly. And I was thinking on a broader thing, not just so localized by saying the Fed. I was thinking, who does take control of it? I was thinking in a much broader spectrum, but yeah, absolutely the Fed.
Yeah. So we don't know, but this is something, you know, I'll definitely be watching because, you know, I think like the banks, they use, you know, we lend the money out and things like that, but things are tightening and we're seeing all these countries because we have weaponized the dollar, not only with Russia and like other countries, but like think about how Gary Gensler is weaponizing the SEC against cryptocurrency projects. It's like it's got to stop because like the innovation's getting hurt, industry is getting hurt, and investors are getting hurt. And honestly, that's kind of Gary Gensler's job at the SEC is to protect investors and innovation to flourish in America so we stay dominant. And we will. I'm not saying the dollar's going to go to zero, but we're losing our status. And we always say, right, Kel, it happens so slowly and then all at once.
Sure. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
And I think that all at once like is going to happen like within the next couple of years because it's just the amount of countries that are joining the BRICS nations. And I think it was Kenya, right? The leader of Kenya, what you were saying with Africa, like, you know, they're pretty much warning people like don't have US dollars.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
rid of US dollars.
I mean, we've been hearing about it for quite a while, but most of the people don't really realize that it is happening. It is a slow process, but it is happening. And BRICS is definitely leading the way. One of the leaders in that effort for sure. Which is, you know what? I'm not a political scientist, but we've definitely kind of been digging our own grave. So here we are.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can only be a bully for so long,
Right.
you know. So basically, like now it's like as we're moving forward, I'm just waiting for that narrative to change. And we're going to get it either in the court system or we're going to get it with Congress. And this is why we need a bill signed because if we don't, it's massive chaos, right? And Gary's just doing whatever he wants. I mean, dropping the lawsuit too on Cardano that did their ICO out in Japan, like nothing really makes sense. You know what I mean? So, you know, we'll just keep watching it, keep dollar cost averaging, because at the end of the day, through all of this chaos, we're moving to the blockchain. The blockchain is the new layer of the internet. We are going to be transferring value to each other without third-party intermediaries. It's just the confusion and, you know, keeping people in a state of fear where they're just like, oh, you know, Bitcoin and crypto is a scam. I mean, Gary Gensler is saying he's just like, you know, they're fraudsters, they're, you know, scammers, and they're hucksters, and like just ridiculous things. But the average person who's like, oh, Gary Gensler is in charge of the SEC, he's looking out for me. So I'm not going to buy Bitcoin at 25,000, you know?
Yeah, and who's the other one that's out there? Jim Cramer. Do
Oh
whatever,
my God.
do opposite of whatever Jim Cramer says, please. Yeah.
Yep. It's so true. I mean, I don't even know how that guy even has a job.
It's been like
He's
that
just,
way.
they're all plants. They're all plants to control the narrative in a way that they want the world to like move. And it's disgusting, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's, you know, for now, there's nothing we can do. We're making our voices heard. You could go to cryptolaw.com and start emailing. They did a whole thing about the SEC, and you can just sign your name and it's all done. You can reword some of it, and make our voices heard, because I think it really did matter with the Ripple lawsuit for sure. I don't think the judge and the SEC were prepared to be so in the limelight with this. You know, like, when are Americans interested in policy and
Right.
like some of these things, you know? We're
Yeah.
interested in hamburgers and our beers.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. Yeah. But I'm trying to see if I missed anything else. So that's it. I mean, let's just wait for the money to flow in. I think that you know, I'm hoping that with the Ripple lawsuit, we'll get those secondary sales. I think everything else is going to be a security. I do. After going through those Hinman emails and not just looking at it like I want to make money and I want everyone in our community to make money, but like, you know, Ripple did some things too. Okay. So it's not just, you
Everybody.
know,
Nobody
yeah,
is innocent, and
yeah,
there's always two dance partners.
yeah. Like Brad Garlinghouse sold so much XRP between 2017 and 2020. He made more money than Jamie Dimon, who's the CEO of JP Morgan. So there are things that have been done. There were things that they pushed out to make XRP a security, but secondary sales, and that's all we're looking for, is not a security. Okay. It's not an investment contract. And XRP is decentralized. Ripple centralized, XRP decentralized, right? They have nothing to do with it. They can't control it.
Yeah.
And even if it was like super more centralized in the beginning, because Ripple Labs created the XRP ledger, just like the Ethereum Foundation, you know, like rolled out Ethereum, and Cardano rolled out its blockchain. But then over time, it becomes more decentralized. And according to Bill Hinman and his speech that was posted on the SEC's website, these are all decentralized protocols and they have nothing to do with the SEC. And that's what we're waiting for.
Yep. So we keep waiting, see what happens.
Yep.
Don't lose
Yep.
sleep over it, folks. Go live your life. Dollar cost
Oh,
everything.
yeah. I mean, I feel so good about it. It's a bumpy road, you know, and I just like, we are moving towards this. And I hear people, you know, because there's a lot of people that have made a lot of money, you know, with their cryptocurrency. They don't like what's going on in the United States right now. And they're just like, I'm going to move. If we don't get regulatory clarity, or if they just shut crypto down in the United States, like, people are seriously talking about moving. But we have to remember, China shut cryptocurrency down over a dozen times over the course of the year, and they just tokenized their first security at a really large bank in China.
Yeah.
Okay, so now they have the upper hand after all of these years of trying to ban Bitcoin mining, cryptocurrency, and now they went live in Hong Kong, which Hong Kong invited Coinbase to open up an exchange. So, you know, so we don't want to lose Coinbase to go to freaking Hong Kong. And we won't. I don't think we will. It's just, again, they want to slow things down. They want projects that they picked for winners to really get embedded in the system, right? And unfortunately, it's not Ripple. But again, there's already so much adoption with Ripple and XRP. We're just waiting. And when this lawsuit ends, we will see more and more announcements coming about the XRP ledger and how XRP is going to be utilized in, the internet of value. I'm pretty psyched about it.
Yeah, I know. It'll be
I
good.
just want it to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, we got to live in the moment every day. What's today going to bring? We'll see. We're lucky to be here.
Yep. So as we wrap up and end, I sang to Kelly, the other day when I was like listening to all the Bill Pittman emails, and like there's one line of the song I didn't really get a chance. I can't find anyone to sing it, but like, so the end of the song, it's all about Eastgate and Bill Hinman and Joe Lubin and Clayton, and it's from Billy Squier, stroke me, and it's like, and it's all about Eastgate, sure you're a winner, but man, you're a sheller now.
I think honestly,
You're still your Ethereum, and we still own your ass because we know it's the future.
oh my gosh, I hope you record it. I don't think you need anybody else but yourself to, we talked about what it could look like, and I think it'd be amazing, and it's very funny, and it's so timely. So yeah.
And it's hilarious because everybody was calling us conspiracy theorists, right? Even Charles Hodgkinson from Cardano had like a big freaking to-do. But the thing is, Eastgate is real, right? I mean, all these emails, it just shows, just keep researching, ask the right questions,
Right.
question everything. And, we're gonna get there. We are going to be mass adopted. Trillions and trillions of dollars are going to flow into this ecosystem. Do not let the government and all the powers that be fudge you out, because you will miss being part of the greatest transfer of wealth ever. Since the internet, this is huge.
Yep, since the .com burst.
Right on.
Yep. And here we are.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us, and until next time,
HODL'on.
Your hosts for Two Women in Crypto are Andrea Caldero and Kelly Lair. You'll find more information and details regarding the Two Women in Crypto membership, educational and informative class and event offerings, and more via their website, twowomenencrypto.com. Both Andrea and Kelly are available for speaking events and offer private consultations focused on helping individuals navigate the future. Until next time, HODL'on.